Hey guys, Desolate Magic here. We've got some news about who Wizards is hiring as their CEO, because their current CEO, absolute corporate wrecking ball of doom, Chris Cox, I think his name was, I always forget his name, he's moving to be the CEO of all of Hasbro. Which, fine, go ruin that. I don't care. Hands off Wizards. He did a terrible job managing it, allegedly. He was Mr. Business Finance guy, didn't know crap about card games, and all he cared about was, oh, look, in the last 4 years, I doubled the revenue. Yeah, but what'd you have to do to get there? We all know. I don't need to explain it to you. So he's out. Great. They're replacing him with Cynthia Williams, but also they're simultaneously hiring Tim Fields. So let's jump into Cynthia first. She served as the general manager and vice president of gaming ecosystem commercial team at Microsoft. So general manager, which means like you actually manage the projects, you actually oversee people, you're not just the ideas person, you're there getting it done. And then vice president, so that's, usually it's like the opposite of the US vice president. They actually have to do something, and then the president is just Mr. Ideas guy. So gaming ecosystem commercial team. Is that a glorified sub-branch of the marketing team, or is that like they're in charge of like all of Xbox and Microsoft games? I have no idea. I don't know how the corporate structure is, but I will say Microsoft just bought Activision, which it only makes them the third biggest gaming company in the world. That's far from a monopoly, but they're by far the biggest in the US. That never should have been approved, honestly. And they're not even like, not only would I fire Bobby Kotick with absolutely zero severance and say, if you even speak one word about complaining about that, we will find something to charge/sue you with. Get out. It sounds like not only are they not doing that, but they're going to give him a giant severance package. And they haven't even announced that he's leaving yet. So, I mean, going back to, I'm not a big console guy, but I would say the automatic include of a Kinect with the whatever Xbox that was, the 360 or whatever, that was when Microsoft just had like almost a decade of just screwing up and pissing everybody off. And in that generation, the PlayStation, 4 or whatever, that was way better. It was clearly better. Sony was kicking their butts. Now, on the intelligence scale, you usually had Sony, which was fairly competent, but still, abusive of the customer base. Then you had Microsoft, which was clueless. Then you had Nintendo, which they don't even know how the internet works. And that is the most mismanaged, out-of-touch company who doesn't even know how their customers operate. It's amazing. But yeah, they've been clueless for like 40 years. Like they don't even know. It's shocking they're still in business. They are so old-fashioned, out of touch, clueless. They don't know what anybody wants. And now, like, the last couple Pokemon games are crap. The last couple big name titles from Nintendo were crap. So they're dead-ass last in the race of big console people. But I think Nintendo is still bigger than Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the other one, because I said Microsoft was third, is Tencent, but I'm not sure about that. And when you hear Tencent, just replace it mentally with the Chinese Communist government, because that's what they are. So they're just a front to make a ton of money and spy on people and rip off foreigners. That's what they do. So with the bar set that low, if you're like, oh, but Microsoft in the last like 5 years, which I think she's been there at least that long, they've turned it around completely. They made really good intelligent acquisitions, but now that they bought Activision, we saw what the end game was there and what they're just trying to basically get a monopoly. But like, like Halo 5 was a disaster. I forgot when that came out. Halo Unlimited or whatever just came out, or Reach, or I don't remember. The last couple Halo games weren't very good, but they've done some really good stuff. Like, hey, if you own it on PC, you get a free copy on Xbox. Oh, you buy this one, Xbox One, you can get it on the, what is the new one? I really could not care less about consoles. Like, we'll give you the free HD upgrade if you buy the game now, or whatever. Oh, you want crossplay? Here, I have crossplay. And then Nintendo's like, we added internet, we added online play, pay us. It's like, what are you, World of Warcraft in 2001? Get a clue, Nintendo. Showing up 20 years late to that party. My God, are they clueless. So they were like looking so much better than Sony and Nintendo. They were now the competent one who's been run correctly for the last couple of years. So if Cynthia Williams was in charge of any of that, great, but it could have come down from the top. I don't know. And like I said, she's not the ideas person. She's the manage it and get it done person. But I assume if she disagreed and said this isn't going to work, then they wouldn't do it that way. But once again, I don't even know what the gaming ecosystem commercial team is. So, direct quote from Tim Fields, the second person they're hiring, said, Cynthia brings a deep understanding of technology and e-commerce along with cloud and console-based gaming. So that sounds like you're pretty much in charge of a lot of Xbox and Microsoft, gaming stuff. But the push to cloud gaming and all that remote stuff, and we'll render it in our render farm and just beam it to you and blow up your bandwidth and have a half-second delay. Oh, what? Gamers don't like that? Yeah, if that was her idea, she does not understand technology or gaming at all. Now remember, Intel was mismanaged as shit, and then they finally brought back an engineer. So, like, not a Wall Street finance business management, Ivy League college douchebag, an actual technical CPU engineer I think it was last year they brought him in at their company to replace their god-awful CEO. And suddenly they've made a bunch of corrections and actually started pumping out chips that aren't crap some of the time. So you really need the right person at the helm, and to say that Microsoft appeared to be going in a right direction, but now that we see the end game with Activision, they're really just we're just going to go back to our old ways like we've been operating for the last 20 plus years and just go for monopoly abuse. I mean, they're currently being sued for the third time for the same damn thing. Bundling a bunch of automatic crap and pushing Edge, pushing Bing, pushing a bunch of garbage and pre-installed in Windows 10 and Windows 7. They've already got nailed for that with XP. They already got nailed for that in 7. It was like a $2 billion fine or something in Europe. And now they're being sued again for doing the same thing. I guess whatever politicians they paid off to turn around a year later and do the exact same thing that they were doing before, they must have retired or just, I don't know, who knows. So any Microsoft Xbox fanboy is about to say, no, Microsoft games has been really, really good for the last 3 years. No, that's just their image. They're trying to get good press. They're trying to gobble up a bunch of the market and then gobble up a bunch of their competitors so that they can hook everybody into their Game Pass bullshit and then just drive it into the ground like Netflix. Make it worse and worse and worse and worse every year until people are like, why am I still signed up for this? It's a very interesting business model. It's very long-term, but Microsoft has been around long enough to do that. So do I think that was all her mastermind idea? No. Maybe she's leaving because she disagrees with everything they're doing. I don't know. Maybe she's leaving because they basically fired her because she was in charge of the whole cloud thing. Who knows? I mean, the whole, the system's off, but the Kinect still spies on you. That's the kind of crap Microsoft has done lately. I don't think she worked there then because, get this, you're going to love this. Prior to joining Microsoft, Cynthia Williams spent more than a decade at Amazon, where she led the global growth of their e-commerce direct-to-consumer business fulfillment by Amazon, which is where you send them your crap and then they sell it for you and then take an unfair commission, send out a product that's not really yours, it's a counterfeit, then they blame you, penalize you, and then if shit doesn't sell in like 3 months, they charge you an enormous fee and ship it back to you or whatever. It really is a garbage system, and us resellers are very sick of it. That's why I solely sell on eBay. I wouldn't even touch Amazon. I'm such a big seller on eBay that I actually got a recruiter contact me with a fake order on eBay. He just bought one of my items and then said, hey, I'm actually an agent from Amazon. You want to come sell with us with FBA fulfilled by Amazon? I'm like, no, I've heard nothing but bad things about your garbage program. So she worked for 10 years developing FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. And it is a garbage abusive crap program, and Amazon is a garbage abusive crap company, obviously. Now, do I think that she was the CEO of the treating your employees like crap division? Probably not. But the fact that she developed from start to finish fulfillment by Amazon, nah. I don't want her anywhere near. And then she moved to Microsoft, and boy, she moves around a lot. I don't think she's like, this has turned into a monster, and I don't agree with it. In principle, I'm leaving. I think she's like, oh, wow, I'm catching some heat for the way I designed this. Well, time to go ruin another company. But it's not like I know her personally. So that's Cynthia Williams. We know the least about her. Let's talk about Tim Fields. And both of them, by the way, are starting on February 21st, 2022, when Chris Cox gets the hell out of Wizards of the Coast, thank God. So Tim Fields is going to be Senior Vice President and General Manager of Digital Gaming. So in other words, MTGO, which just got sold off by Chris Cox, and Magic Online. And that's it. And then a bunch of failed MMOs and Puzzle Quest and a bunch of other shit that didn't go well. Now, Tim Fields. First of all, go look up a picture of him. That's all I'm allowed to say on YouTube. Now, Cynthia, she looks friendly. She looks like she'd walk up and give you a hug at church. I mean, she looks like she would be the really, really enthusiastic, person hosting a cooking show. In fact, I wasn't sure she wasn't from Cook's Kitchen. I actually had to look that up. Anyway, let's go over Tim's work history. Mr. Fields joins Hasbro from Kabam Games, which, if you thought the people who just bought MTGO were bad, you should look up Kabam. I'm just going to list off the reasons why you shouldn't trust them. 1, they're the most successful, which just means abusive, mobile gaming studio. Yep, in North America, where he served as CEO for the past 5 years. Under his leadership, Kabam developed and operated numerous AAA games. AAA mobile games, including Marvel Contest of Champions, which, probably should delete that because they just announced it's shutting down. Disney Mirrorverse, Fast and Furious, and Transformers Forged to Fight. So just, loot box garbage is what I'd call it. If you're number one in mobile, nothing good could possibly be in your portfolio of games. So Tim has held a range of leadership positions at major publishers, including Capcom, Microsoft, and Electronic Arts, aka EA. He went from EA and Microsoft to microtransaction Mobileville as the CEO for 5 years and got the company to the #1 spot in America. And also, Kabam is partially owned by Chinese Alibaba. They could have given this job to like a mannequin, a cat, a chimpanzee. Probably have better results than giving this job to the king of microtransactions himself, Tim Fields. This is the worst person they could ever possibly get. And why did they hire, first of all, 2 people, and then 2 people who maybe worked together? Because he used to work for Microsoft and she worked for Microsoft. Not sure if it was at the same time. I think it doesn't add up, but then Tim said something about Cynthia like he knows her. It could have just been some polite thing where he looked up her Wikipedia page or something, which I don't think she has one. I tried to look up any news involving Cynthia Williams. She has an unbelievably generic name, unfortunately, but also I just couldn't find anything. I don't think she even has a Twitter account. And based on Wizards employees' activity on Twitter, she should probably keep it that way. So putting somebody who knows how to promote mobile games to dumbass 55-year-old women that can throw $100 a week at a game while also scamming children with loot boxes, putting him in charge of Arena is probably not the best idea, to put it lightly. And then, like I said, who knows what Cynthia did at Microsoft? No idea. So Fields is being replaced at his job at, the CEO of Kabam by Xiangwan Li from Netmarble, which bought them in 2017. So now they're under even more Chinese control, and Netmarble is freaking terrible. At that time, Tim was president. So he thought that was a good idea, getting acquired by a Chinese company. He didn't see anything wrong with that. The real question is, why is he leaving? My God, if you leave a position like that or a position at Microsoft for Wizards of the Coast, you're either insane, or you were severely misrepresented and lied to by Wizards, or you were about to get downsized / fired because of your performance. So maybe they didn't toe the company line. But I mean, well, I can't say that about Fields. He was literally in charge of the entire company. But then again, Netmarble bought them. So but they bought him in 2017. So why would he leave right then? And I think he was installed almost at the exact same time. So there's a lot of red flags here. I'd love to try and get an interview with him, but I think even the major outlets couldn't. So I don't think I'll even try. It'd be hilarious if we hit it off and we were friends and then they get there on the first day at work and they're like, hey, this Desolator Magic guy, we should do something with him. And everybody's like, hell no, I quit. He is literally the devil. Although, shout out to, I have a couple fans at Wizards, okay? Not the management, but a couple people there. More than a couple people there. Because they have to work with the walking, talking problems that run the company there. So they agree with my takes on a lot of things. And they agree that the game's getting absolutely wrecked. But it's going to get worse when Tim Fields gets there because he knows, microtransaction loot box games. He's been nothing but running them under a Chinese overlord for 5 years. Oh, God, this is going to be a nightmare. And the only digital game they have right now is that, well, let's see, they shut down the MMO. We got the shitty D&D MMO that's failing horribly because it's garbage. It was just vanilla, just Chinese crap. Out of touch, clueless, boring, repetitive, soulless, half-done garbage that almost makes New World look good, but they win the award forever for worst managed MMO ever. You could not manage a game worse than that. Thank God they didn't get anybody who was in charge of that mess. Oh my God. That was Amazon's mismanaged thing. I watched a 60-minute documentary on it. I could not believe that they were 10 times worse than I thought. So luckily nobody involved with that is here, but God, Netmarble and Kabam is second place for list of people I would never hire from. At least not CEOs and managers, you know what I mean? Mr. Fields can't say, I had nothing to do with microtransactions and stealing money from kids. No, you did. You were in charge of the entire company as a CEO, so you did. So they even said, they've made a public statement in the past that they're moving from manipulative social media games, because nobody's on Facebook anymore, to mobile AAA I think they said, quote, real games with in-depth stories. So not just traps, not just garbage, not just rip-off, Zynga crap. Although I think Netmarble bought Zynga. So they make in-depth games with a lot of social stuff, but how'd they make it to number one if they made actually good games? Because we know who the top 100 mobile games are. They're all awful. It's like Clash of Clans and trash like that. Well, that would be because they pushed loot boxes and gambling mechanics with virtual currencies. So that was their hook. Was we're going to make a real game, but then we're going to pull people into this. It's not just going to be, some bit of exploitive crap. Low effort, low budget, works like crap, small team garbage. They're going to make a really, really, really horrible customer, unfriendly game, but it's going to look like a really good high effort game. So they put a ton of money into it, but then they just need even more money out. So at the end of the day, you're going to hit a paywall, and it's about as, psychological manipulation as you can get. They probably own patents on the level of ripping off customers and psychological warfare tactics that they use. Guys, there are patents out there, as far as I know. I think EA owns all these, but, well, Tim used to work for EA, where, like, they will match you up against, like, someone who has a lot of cosmetics if you haven't bought any cosmetics, or they'll match you up against somebody with a better gun than you, and then make sure you lose, so that you want to go buy their gun. They have a patent on that. And it gets worse from there. Hell, he might have architected that. He worked at Electronic Arts around the time that patent came out. Yeah, Tim Fields, horrible. Cynthia Williams, maybe not awful, but probably because Microsoft. Yikes. And to reiterate, she designed Fulfilled by Amazon, one of the worst programs ever. And I bet Cynthia and Tim have never played a card game in their life, so I don't have any confidence. I thought maybe they'd promote someone internally or find someone who knows games. Bring Richard Garfield back, make him CEO. I don't know. Maybe hire Robert Picardo, aka the hologram doctor from Voyager, and just tell people it's Richard Garfield, because my God, can you not tell the difference between those two? They might as well be twins. Hey, if he could manage a sickbay, he could manage Wizards of the Coast, okay? I know one of the two would have way more psychological problems than medical injuries, but he did occasionally treat those. So, I mean, okay, they didn't exactly hire, like, the cast of The View to run Wizards of the Coast, so it's not just going to be an SJW, I hate white people shit show. But they did the next worst thing and got the most manipulative, abusive game designers in the history of the world, or at least one of them, and then put them in charge of digital games. Yeah. 100% zero confidence that anything's going to change. The only question is, are they going to be worse than Chris Cox? And that's where I'm like, maybe not. Because this is all allegedly, but once again, I heard this from a ton of ex-employees. But his whole thing of, like, secret layers, push the power level, that was all him and Mark Rosewater. So if he wants to bring that aggressive, ruin the community, just only care about the numbers and who cares about the 5-10 year plan, if he wants to bring that to Hasbro, I don't give a crap. Every time there's not a Transformer movie, they practically go bankrupt. So they could probably use the help, but if he wants to put in microtransactions or some manipulative collectors bullshit into Candyland and whatever the hell else they own, fine. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. What I do care about is number 1, Tim Fields, and number 2, Cynthia Williams. So let's watch really carefully. I bet by, like, April, we'll see what they actually do. Because, end of February, they're going to come in, they're just going to kind of, talk to people, get the feel of things, and just kind of work stuff out, maybe work out a plan, for the next 30 days-ish. And then I think right in April, we're going to see the stuff that they're directly involved in roll out. Now, that Wizards moves pretty slow. Like, the next 2 sets are probably done and printed, basically. Or at least play-tested and finalized. So they can't really come in and say change that. But changes to, like, MTGA, they can run that whenever they want. They can just call them up and be like, hey, do this now because I said so. But it takes a while to program it. So I think maybe by, like, June or July, we'll really, really start seeing stuff that is, the doing of one of the 2 of them. My only question is, how is Tim going to come in and handle the fact that MTGO was, like, a couple weeks ago handed off to some garbage third-party, glorified venture capital company where games go to die, where they just squeeze the existing people as hard as they can and then just kill off the game? That's basically what they do. How is he going to handle that? Is he going to want it back? Does he think he can do a better job? Is he going to kind of micromanage that and tell them what to do? Say there's a course correction, they better listen to him, or they'll pull the license or buy it back, or, who knows? He might just shred the contract. Is it even in effect yet? I don't know. That'll be interesting, but also I don't care because I don't play MTGO, neither does anybody else, because Chris Cox already ruined it, allegedly, by cutting the rewards and not giving people any, booster packs anymore. They went on to, like, prize chests, aka loot boxes. That was all done under his leadership. It's not like he didn't know about it. As far as I'm concerned, it was his idea, and that's what I'm hearing. He was a look at these numbers kind of guy who just does not understand or does not care about the game, the history, or the community, or who he pisses off. It's just all numbers, numbers, numbers. Typical, like, Wall Street / Ivy League asshole, business management degree kind of douchebag, who just comes in, wrecks everything, and says, look how good I did. Must have been the person after me who ruined it. When really it's just puffed up numbers, and then they go get a better job and climb the corporate ladder, which is exactly what he did. So keep in mind, Hasbro still owns Wizards of the Coast. Chris Cox isn't, like, going to, join the Mars mission. He's still going to be in control of Wizards, just also busy with Hasbro's other crap. So I assume he's not going to, still remain at Wizards of the Coast headquarters, but he could have been working remote for all I know. Everybody else there is still working remote from home on a webcam, which is why nothing's getting done or tested correctly. Not that it was before COVID either, but it made it worse. So yeah, all these problems stack it up, and I really do not like either of these people. I guarantee Tim Fields was a disaster, and I hope they fire him as soon as he's like, let's add more loot boxes. But maybe Cynthia will come in and be like, nah, we fixing this. I saw what went wrong here, here, and here, and we're going to do things differently. You never know. You really never know. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think for sure by the end of 2022, we're going to see the effects of both of these people. So watch for that. Wish I had better news, but well, I do hopefully tomorrow or Saturday have better news, and it's about a better game. Still shooting the footage for that. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.